All right, I am Jessica Parsons. I'm here to talk about Girl Develop It San Francisco and our open source curriculum, which is hosted at teaching-materials.org. We did a sprint for this last year, and we're doing it again this year, so I'm pretty excited about it. First, a little bit about Girl Develop It. Our mission is to provide affordable and accessible programs for women and folks of all genders to learn software through mentorship and hands-on instruction. We do that through low-cost hands-on workshops and also other events that are related to the tech industry that I'll get into some of those more in a minute. A few facts about the organization as a whole. It was first started in 2010, and it has since expanded to 56 cities across the United States. Here in the Bay Area, we have a chapter here in San Francisco, and also in San Jose, and also in Oakland. And as a whole, across the country, we teach over 500 people. That should be month. Per month, over 500 people per month that we teach across the country, which is still quite a lot. About San Francisco chapter, that was started in 2012, and we now have almost 8,000 members. We teach evening and weekend workshops on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, command line, Git, and a variety of related topics. We also have special career building events like Intro to Docker, and for example, week after next, we're going to have a hybrid tech careers panel. So that's people who have hybrid careers in the technology industry, giving a panel about what sorts of options you might find in that. If you're interested, sign up on our website. But that's one of the types of events that we do. Teachingmaterials.org is the site where we host all of our curriculum. And that was created by the founder of Girl Develop It San Francisco back when the chapter was started. And that's pretty much where we have all of the curriculum that we use for teaching our workshops here in San Francisco. And it actually gets adopted by many of the other chapters across the country. It's, like I said, been used for hundreds of workshops now. We teach about 50 per year these days, so that's quite a bit. The repo itself is just static HTML and CSS. We don't involve any build tools or things like that because we want to make it a repo that's easily accessible to even our newer students, because some of our students make their very first Git contributions to open source in our repo, so we try and make that as accessible as possible. So we have some repetition for things, but it's also makes it really accessible, but there's also a lot of really useful stuff in there in terms of content. We use Reveal.js, which is a JavaScript library for handling the slides. If you've ever used slides.com, it also uses that. And I'll show you a demo of how that works. And then, like I said, the curriculum is on a variety of topics. So if there is a topic in there that's something that you feel like you're fairly well versed in and that you know about or would like to help out with, take a look at it and see if you have any input on that as well. So even if it's not written in the language or framework or something like that that you're interested in, if the curriculum itself is of interest to you, that can be something you can help out with. So I'm going to go to, I hid a link inside of a picture. This is the teachingmaterials.org page, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. It's just a basic website using Bootstrap. It's very simple, kind of just the whole thing is to get it all easily to get out there. And when you go to that site, you can see a listing of all of the different workshops that we teach and the curriculum for them. So, for example, you can click on one of them, and some of them are broken out into multiple slides. And this is how Reveal works when it's in use. You've probably seen presentations that kind of look like this, and that's what they're using usually. What that looks like on the code side If you go to the top of the teachingmaterials.org site, you can see there's a link here to the repo, which is at github.com/gdisf/teaching-materials. And each one of the workshops is in a folder of its own. And so it's pretty easy to figure out which workshop you're working on. Just go to the appropriate folder. And then down at the very bottom, we have our index, which is where all of the different workshops are listed. And so like I said, it's just straight up HTML. And we have done a whole bunch of work putting together lots and lots of issues that people can help out with, including some really straightforward newbie-friendly issues. So if you can look at the issues list, and you can see if they have, and I need to zoom in again, a newbies only tag on them, try and leave them for the newbies instead of going, oh, I could fix that typo, or I'm going to go add this page. There are ones in here that are not just for newbies. You just have to scroll a ways to get to them. Some of them need some refining in the way that the Reveal.js is used. And some of them have some other information that needs to be added. So you can scroll through and find some of those. A lot of it is content that's not even code. So even if you're not super familiar with code, you can contribute to this. And so if you look at one of them, this particular one is for creating a follow-up email. It has the content of the email to put into it and where to put it. And if you want to make an addition to something like this, this one is, oh, and I should also say, each of the issues has a tag at the beginning of it for which workshop it goes with, so which folder it would be in. So for example, the accessibility workshop goes with this issue. If I was logged in, it wouldn't keep telling me to sign up for GitHub. And so it's telling you generally what you should put in, what you should put as your follow-up email. And if I'm going to be creating this follow-up.md file and folder, or file inside of the folder, so I can look through and this says, okay, I'm going to write up an email draft. So there's example drafts here that I can take from. And that's the part where you have to actually think through it. And then to create follow-up.md, you can do that by cloning down the repo and using it like usual, but you can also do it straight inside of GitHub. So I can go down to the accessibility folder, and I want to create a new file, follow-up.md, and I'm not logged in. Let me do this on my other computer, on my other window. Okay, so you can go to accessibility, and actually, if you don't have authorization on the repo like I do, you won't be able to push this create new file button, as I recall. You'll probably have to create a fork first. But you can change files. And when you click this little pencil icon, it'll make it so that you can change the file. And then when you go down here to save it to change it, it'll tell you, you don't have permission to merge to this repo. You'll need to make a fork first. And it'll automatically make that fork and put it into, make a pull request for it. So that is pretty handy. But you can also from a folder do the create new file and say, oh, I'm going to make this file follow-up.md, and then put the information that you want to put into that file, and go down here to commit it, and then it'll prompt you to create a fork and save it to the repo. So even without having to do cloning in command line, you can also make contributions to the repo. So I think that pretty much covers it. Did I leave anything out, Kristen or Brenda? No? Okay, so if you have any questions as we get to the hack point, you can talk to me, or back in the back standing, Brenda and Kristen can also help out. So, all right, thank you.